Welcome, sun and sunsets. My name is Cynthia Renee Meeks, and the sage is out of control. Welcome, sun and sunsets. My name is Cynthia Renee Meeks, and I'm a spiritual awakening guide for those who have a strong desire to spiritually define their life path in this life or a past life. The modalities I use are spiritual metaphysics. I'm a spiritual hypnotist, and I'm also a numerologist. And also I assist people in their spiritual awakening and spiritual journey. Now let's get started. So today's video is about DMX and the conversation that we had after his passing. So I'm just going to jump right into it because I know you guys are here exactly to get this information. So I started dreaming about DMX before he went into the hospital, and then right before he went into the hospital, and then when he went into the hospital, I really started dreaming about him like all the time. And do I know DMX? No, I've never met this man before in my life. Other than, you know, the TV and everything else, like everybody else know him. But I was dreaming about him, and oftentimes when I dream about someone they're trying to connect with me. Now, I am not a psychic, I am not a medium, but I am very intuitive. And so I was dreaming about him. And then right after, I was debating whether or not I was going to communicate with him while he was in a coma. And while I did not want to feel, because I felt like this, so I did not want to feel if I was breaking his free will by communicating with him with his spirit and his higher self. And so while I'm in my debate stage, or should I, am I breaking free will, asking God for a sign, I never got the sign, and then he passed. And I think it's because in my mind, the purpose of me wanting to communicate with him, just see whether or not he was going to stay or if it was time for him to go. And maybe that was not the mission that I was supposed to do. So in my debate stage, he ended up passing on April 9th. And after he passed, it's like, well, he's gone now, so, you know, should I try to still tap into him to see if he will communicate with me? And then the dream started again. I started dreaming about him again, and I'm still debating, like, okay, he's gone, like everybody's talking about him. I don't want to get involved in this now. You know, I don't want to get involved in talking to him and then wanting to post a video about it, because it's so much mess out there. Like, I don't want to get caught up in the mix. So 10 days went past, 10 days. And I made up my mind to go ahead and communicate, so maybe the dreams would stop. So on April the 19th, I made connection with DMX. Now, I had 21 questions when I decided to go ahead and talk to him. 21 questions for him to answer. Of course, it was about Aaliyah. There was about, how did you die? Were you taking drugs? Did they lie? You know, all of this stuff. Really, really good questions, right? And so, like, again, I'm not a medium. I'm not a psychic. I'm very intuitive. So I use a friend of mine who is a medium to connect with him. So basically, she was the one who was able, I hypnotized her, and she was the one who was able to connect with his spirit. And then I would communicate through her, and basically he allowed she allowed him to use her voice and to communicate with me in her mouth. And so she is not American, and English is her second language, so she didn't even know who he was. So I had to show her a picture of him right before we started the session. So right before we started the session, I showed her pictures. I said, so when you see him, you'll know who he is, and not just, you know, someone else just stopping by because we are doing this. So after she saw the picture, and then she said, he's here. Quickly he came. And I asked him, I said, you have been trying to communicate with me. Why do you want to talk to me? And he said, I don't know. And I asked him, is your real name? And I called out his real name, and he said, no. I asked him, I said, what is your real name? And he said, I don't want to tell you that. Or he said, I can't tell you that. And I said, okay, are you DMX? And he says, yes. And then I said, and then I called on her. You know, I counted up, and then I asked her, I said, is this really him? And she said, it is him. And so I just proceeded on, even though he didn't want to tell me his name, I just proceeded on with, you know, calling him DMX. And I said, I have 21 questions for you. And he said, I want you to heal my inner child. That was the first thing that he said to me. He bypassed exactly what I said and went straight to, I want you, I need you to heal my inner child. And I said, we can do that. And he said, don't send me to the light. And I said, well, why is it that you don't want to go to the light? And he said, because I have some things to do. I have to go ask people for forgiveness. I got to watch over my family. He said that I need to go protect some people. I said, well, all of that you want to do, we can do it right here. We can ask for your forgiveness. You can say your goodbyes. And he said, no, I have to go do it myself. And then he proceeded to tell me and show us a lot of stuff that is not out there in the media. Not only is it not out there in the media, no one else knows about this. And the things that he proceeded to tell me and show us, he said only one other girl knew this. And I said, okay. And he said a bunch of stuff. But then he said that I'm not ready to go to the light. And then I really tried to call in Archangel Michael to come in, and maybe Archangel Michael could talk to him, Archangel Azrael, and they didn't come. So basically I could not violate his free will, right? Because they did not come. Anytime you call on in hypnosis, when you call on the archangel, when I call on the archangels, they come. But in this particular case, they did not come because that's not what he wanted, right? He was not ready to go to the light. You can't force anybody to go to the light. And we'll get to that in a minute. I want to get done with this, and then I'm going to talk about how it is when people actually pass away. So he said that he was not, don't send him to the light. He was not ready to go to the light. And I said, okay. And so I proceeded to heal his inner child. And then he said, I have to go do this. I have to say my goodbyes. I have to ask for forgiveness. There's a lot of things I need to do. And I said, so what do you want me to do for you? He said, just pray for me. And I said, okay. And I have a white candle over here that I keep for him. And I'm actually going on my second candle. The first one has already went out, but I'm on my second candle. And I did ask him, I said, can I come, will you come to me when you're ready to go to the light, and so I can help you? And he says, yes. And I said, well, what would you like for me to pray for? And he said, pray that I don't get stuck in the darkness. And I said, okay, I will. And then he says, I gotta go. And that was it. But he did say that a lot of people have been trying to contact him and that he didn't want to talk to them. And that's when I proceeded, when we first started, like, well, why did you choose me? And he said, I don't know. And so here we are in June 1st, right? And I'm just now making this video because it took me a lot to make this video because, of course, I could not disclose a lot of the things that he told me. I wouldn't disclose a lot of things that he told me. However, I didn't want to put it out there to glorify I talked to DMX. The purpose of me putting this video out here was to help people to understand, because he sees all the pictures. He sees the pictures with the wings and he sees all these stuff, but he is not in the light. He is not in the light, okay? Which is a lot of people out here. So what I want you to understand is that just because someone passed away, okay, there is not a angel that comes down and say, hey, it's time to go. Let's go. Let's walk on into this, through these gates. It's not like that. You do have the light. You do get the light. Not everybody get the light, because some people have to do what he wants to do, like ask for forgiveness, release the ego a little bit. So, and then the light, but the light is always there. The light is always within you, okay? So what I want to say is that you have free will on this side of the earth plane, on this side of this, on this physical plane, and then on this non-physical plane, you still have free will. No one is going to force someone who passes away. No one is there to force you into the light, okay? No one is there to force you to go into your next evolution. So many times I've done hypnosis sessions, and I've talked to people from the 1800s. I've talked to Indians, a chief Indian who was still watching over his land, who had attached to someone. And we'll get to that. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but please understand, okay, it is yes, it's a beautiful thing to make these pictures of people who have passed on and show the clouds and the angels and the wings and all these beautiful things, but realistically, okay, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. And 9 times out of 10, most men do not go into the light because of the ego, because of the things they've done in their lifetime, and they figure, let me backtrack that. You have free will, okay? You have free will, and they're not teaching you this in church. So what you're hearing from me, it could be the first time you've heard this, or it could be something that sounds familiar to you. Either way, this is how it works. You have free will regardless. This side and on the other side, you have free will. Okay, you don't have to go to the light. There are many, many thousands, millions and millions on top of millions of earthbound spirits that are people who have died centuries ago and just never went to the light, because eventually they get weak and the light is not there anymore, and they have to find someone like me in hypno or a medium who can work with spirits to send them to the light, or find a gateway that will be able, that someone is there to help them to the light, because it's not there anymore. So but it's always within you, but they don't know this. They don't know that all they have to do is make it big and make it, find that spirit of light, the God within them, because even in a spirit form, you still have the God of light within you, even in spirit form. Most people are taught, even I was taught, and I had to rational my thinking, get my brain around this when I became spiritual, when I became a hypnotist, a numerologist, a metaphysical teacher. I had to wrap my brain around this notion of when people die, then they don't have to go to the light, because that's the way you're taught in church, from your relative, from your family. There's either heaven or hell, one of the two, heaven or hell, and that is not true. That is false. Because if you, how do I want to say this? Everybody that's here on earth is not from Adam and Eve, okay? Everybody here on earth is not from Adam and Eve. So if you come here and you left planet Mars or planet Jupiter, and you decided to incarnate into a human form this lifetime, and you're here and you die, you're not going to go to the light so you can go to the councils. You're going to go to a different light where you are go back to your planet. Okay? So that's too much. Okay? So just understand that he is not in the light. He does still have an opportunity to go to the light, but he feels like he has some more things to do. And I tried to explain to him, you don't have a body now. The only way that you be able to do what you want to do, it probably more than likely he will end up attaching to someone. Because if he wants to go back and he wants to say his sorry and his forgiveness and a lot of these things he wants to do, he can't do it in the form that he's in. He can try, and they will feel the sense of the presence. And I will get to that in a minute. 5 ways to know that your relative, your loved one who has passed on is around you. That's coming up. If people die tragically, whether by gunshot, whether by drowning, whether by a car accident, those are the ones who, and the ones who are so religious, okay? Because the ones that are so religious, and they know that we all do stuff here. That's why we come here. We come here to experience, okay? No one is just walk around just white clothing, okay? Just so perfect. We all have things that we have to ask for forgiveness, okay? So even those ones who you think that they're so religious, oh, I know they in the light, oh, I know, you still have to pray for them too, okay? And how you pray for them, you call on Archangel Azrael. Archangel Azrael is the archangel of death, and that's the angel will help not only the ones who have passed on, it helps the ones who have passed on go into the light. If you call on, but Archangel Azrael is not going to come just because. Archangel Azrael is only going to come if you call on him. And if you call on Archangel Azrael, and there's many prayers, I'll put a prayer down in the description box. So if you have a relative that's passed on and you feel like they're not in the light, then you can pray this prayer, and Archangel Azrael will come, locate that relative of yours, and they will talk to them and help them into the light, okay? Again, they have free will. Archangel Azrael can only do so much, but again, that's Archangel Azrael's job, is to help the loved ones who have passed on, and to aid the ones who are still here grieving, okay? He works with both. So if you have a relative who cannot just get over their son, their daughter, their mother, or their loved one passing, then you can call on Archangel Azrael for them as well, okay? Archangel Azrael is here to help the ones who are stuck here, who don't know how to leave. And I don't care if they died 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It doesn't matter. If they earthbound, they're earthbound, okay? They can still go to the light, because over on the other side, there is no time. They don't even know. Sometimes when I talk to a spirit, they don't even know when they died. It's been so long, they don't even know. All they know is in the 1829 or 18 or 1700s, or early 1900s or whatever. I've talked to some old spirits that has been here for a long time, and normally those ones are attached to people, okay? So now I'm going to give you 5 ways to know if your relative is in the light or not. There actually is 12 ways, but for this sake of this video, I'm only going to give you 5, and then I will do a separate video to explain all 12, okay? Let's do that. Number 1 is you can smell their scent. So if you smell their scent right after they pass away, they're not in the light, okay? They're not. Yes, you know that they're around you, and it say, oh, I'm so glad, Big Mama, you here. But Big Mama, I would love for you. I'm gonna help you go into the light, and then once you go through the light, then you can come back and visit. But Big Mama, it's time for you to go to the light, okay? Believe it or not, I had a 79-year-old woman attached to me. She was in my ear. She died of lupus, okay? 79 years old. So it does not matter how old they are. If they don't want to go to the light, they don't have to go to the light, okay? So understand, just because Big Mama passed away and Big Mama prayed hard every night does not mean Big Mama went to the light. Because if Big Mama's family members acting up and fighting over her estate, or crying and can't take it that she ain't here, she will hang around because she think that she needs to be there for her family members. So understand, when you grieve hard, it prolongs your family members from going to the light, and they end up getting stuck here, okay? Until someone helps them go to the light. Number 2, pictures fall off the wall. Now, that can mean a lot of things, but pictures do fall off the wall when your family members are still around in the house with you. I had pictures fall off the wall in my house, but it was not my family. It was another spirit that was attached to me. So understand that when pictures falling off the wall, yes, they're trying to get your attention. They're trying to say, I'm here, listen to me, wake up, look, go to the bedroom, there's money in the third drawer, you know, something like that. So they cannot communicate with you like that, but they do things like make the pictures fall. And if this is happening right after they pass, okay, within a year, then they're not in the light. Because once you go to the light, you cannot turn around and visit. You have to go through a period of rest. Okay, it's a resting period. You got to go to the soul councils. There's a lot of things you have to do that takes years and centuries, okay, in order to get you to the point, not centuries, not okay, and centuries to come be reincarnated, but it takes a few years in order for you to be able to be okay, to be able to come back and visit your family, okay? Unless you're 7 energy. If you're 7 energy, then you will be able to communicate with them once they're done through the council, the resting, then you can have a dream about them. Okay, but unless you're not a 7 energy, it takes a while for you to be able to dream about your family member. Know this, within 1 year, they're not in the light. If they're coming to you, if you're smelling their scent, if they're dropping pictures off the wall, they're not in the light. That's when you need to call on Archangel Azrael and say, talk to your loved one and say, I love you, thank you for being here, but I'm okay now. Now you can go to the light so you can go on to your next evolution, okay? Number 3, the lights turn on and off. So when the lights turn on and off or flicker, right? When you're talking about someone, you're thinking about them and the lights start to flicker, if it's within the year, then they're not in the light, okay? They can do that. They can make the lights flicker. So understand that if it's something like that happening, and that's when you're thinking about them, okay? Because the lights can flicker if it's an angel. It does not necessarily have to be your family member, but if it's an angel, but if it's within a year, especially right after they pass, if lights are flickering, then that's your family member. They're not in the light. Talk to them, give them love, show them love, let them know it's okay. Let them know that, you know, go on to your next evolution so you can get healed, so you can, you know, be able to be there with your angels, your guides, your family. You know, and then call on Archangel Azrael. Okay, so the next one is you can see them. Now, everybody won't be able to see them. I saw one in my house one time. And I know it seemed like a lot of stuff happened in this house, but that was weird. And he was here from the colonial time. He had been here since the colonial. He was like a 16-year-old boy, and I saw him walking down the hall. And I had to call on Archangel Michael to come talk to him because he didn't want to leave. They forgot about him during that time, and he just stayed here. The house was built on top of him, so he just stayed in this area. So Archangel Michael came in, and he was a rough one too. I mean, he would throw my phone off the couch. He would just make stuff fall. And I'm like, oh my God, what kind of house did I move into? But I wasn't scared, right? Because I didn't feel like it was like that heavy, dense energy that was like a dark force entity. So I was never scared. So I called in Archangel Michael, and Archangel Michael had to come talk to him and then help him to the light. So yes, you can call on Archangel Michael, but the person who's supposed to is this job, who does this job, is Archangel Azrael. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so the next one is they can attach to you. Yes, okay, so the next one is that they can attach to you. Attach to you if your family members are there. Say for instance, if your family member died of drinking, okay, and you love to drink as well, like you really get it in, like you get your girlfriend time, or you go out with your guys, or you just pop it open when you get, you know, at home and pour you a few. If you're one of the ones who love to drink, and your family member died of drugs or alcohol, they will attach to you, because when you drink, your vibration is low. When you're depressed, your vibration is low. When you do drugs, your vibration is low, and you can't fight anything from wanting to come and attack your energy system, okay? And so these spirits, your earthbound, whether you're your family, and it don't have to be your family. If you drink and you're doing alcohol, you're depressed, and you're stressed, and you're arguing, you're so mad. Any earthbound spirits, okay, out there, anybody who have died, no matter now or centuries ago, if they like to drink and their vibration is vibing to how you are acting out, then they can attach to you, okay? So understand that it does not necessarily have to be your family member. It could be anyone out there can attach to you if you're doing these things. And then how you would know is because you would start to do it more. You would drink more. You would start doing more alcohol. You drugs. You would start acting out more. If it's fighting and angry, and they died angry, or they died, or somebody took their life and they want revenge, then they're attached to you because you are vibrating in that frequency, that how they pass and how they're feeling, and then they can attach to you and they can influence you to do certain things. And those are the 5 ways. Now, again, there's more, and I would do another video on all of the ways that you can tell if your family members are not in the light. So yes, this video started out being about DMX. However, I wanted to give you some information because just because DMX passed, you have relatives who have passed on as well. They may not be a celebrity, but they may be here earthbound, waiting, wondering, don't know what to do next, because once you get here and get stuck. And also babies, not really babies, but kids who die, most of them don't go to the light. Now, they have all the angels there waiting, helping, not the babies, but the kids, okay? They have all the angels there waiting. And I'm talking about more of the older kids, like maybe 5 and up. They have the angels there waiting for them, right? And helping, aiding them. But they can say, no, I don't want to go. And they can't force them, okay? Because they left their parents. Their parents are so sad and so upset. And they don't know and recognize anyone in the light. So if they don't recognize anyone, mind you, because they're kids, right? So everybody they know are still here. So they don't go to the light. They stay here with their families, and they find other kids who are, who looking for an imaginary friend. And then they go and they find those kids and they're attached to them, okay? So understand that if you have a child who has passed on, if you have a relative who has passed on, a loved one, it doesn't matter. I don't care how religious they are. If you are having these signs around you and they just passed, talk to them, show them love, give them love, and let them know you are okay. And then call on Archangel Azrael, and Archangel Azrael will come in and help you and them, assist them to the light, but help you with that understanding that they are no longer here, but it's okay, and give you that comfort, okay? And I do want to say this, the purpose of me trying to help DMX in the light, go to the light, was because oftentimes, again, how we view this life, how we view things through these lens of they call eyes, is one way, but we don't know the contract that we signed until we go into the light and meet with the soul councils. And that was one of the reasons why my goal for him was to go into the light, because he still is stuck, and that's why he wanted me to heal his inner child, because he is still stuck at a lot of the things that he did, a lot of the things that happened to him. That is still playing a big part in his thinking, okay? And when in thinking like that, he think he has all this work to go do. So the purpose of me wanting him to go into the light, so he will be able to see the contract that he signed up, and what he signed up for, because he don't know that. Even in the spirit form, you don't know your contract, okay, until you go into the light, until you go and sit with the councils, and then they show you, right? They show you everything in plain, like, yes, this happened to you, but the reason why that happened to you, because this is what you signed up for. You signed up to go through this and feel this pain. You signed up to go through this. And so I wanted to show him that. And I was unable to do that because he was not ready to go into the light. So understand that however you think on this side, while you have a body, your thinking process, your religion background, how you were brought up, what you believe that's right and wrong, what you think that is good or bad, all of this stuff, unforgiveness, however you think, that does not go away when you die. That does not go away. You still have that same thinking pattern, okay? And in order to get a full understanding, as to what you signed up for, what your contract looks like, you have to go in the light. You have to go in the light in order to get that understanding. because in the light is where you see all of your lives, all of your past lives, okay? All of your past lives and how many times you had to repeat that same thing, and all of your contracts, all of it's there. And then you will be able to go on to your next evolution, whatever that may be. Maybe it's, again, maybe it's to school. Maybe it's you going to take some lessons. Maybe you go to another planet. Maybe you have another job on another planet. You just don't know what the next evolution is. I don't know what your next evolution is. All I can do is help you what your past life and what's beyond, and before you came to this life, what it was like and how you chose this life. And that's what I do. And that's part of what I do in my job. So understand that if you had a family member, as you call, was not saved, that has nothing to do with it. And that's what a lot of people keep them from going to the light, because they were like, well, I wasn't in church, I didn't get saved. That has nothing to do with it. Nothing. Because everyone, I don't want to say everyone. I want to say, let me tread softly on this, because I don't want to send you the wrong information. When you go into the light, you will get a better understanding. If this was a life that you felt like you were so bad, you did so many bad things, that may have been what you signed up for. To feel what it feels like when you mistreat someone. To feel what it feels like when you're the bad person. Because in all of these thousands of lives that we had, because this soul has traveled many times. So in all of these thousands of lives, we've been the person, we've been the thief, we've been the rich, we've been the poor, we've been this, we've been that. You know, whatever the feelings that you want to feel, the emotions, whatever you come to this earth school to feel. So just because you were bad and people say, you know, put that tag on you, you don't, maybe that's what you signed up for. So don't allow that to stop you going to the light, and don't allow you, if you have a family member who has passed on, from believing that they won't have the light, from believing that they're not in the point with the councils, and believing that they are in hell, because it doesn't, you don't know. You don't know the origin of their soul. You don't know what they signed up for. You don't know what's on their contract. The only thing that you're supposed to do is have love and compassion. And if you have any of these, feel any of these 5 different ways to feel like they are, if you have noticed any of these things that I just, ways to know that your family member is still among you right after they pass, then all you have to do is have love and compassion and be willing to help them go to the light, okay? Calling on Archangel Azrael. My name is Cynthia Renee Meeks. I'm a spiritual awakening guide. I thank you for being here with me, for listening to this all the way to the end, if you're still here. And if you would like to book an appointment with me and understand, and maybe want to see if your family member is still here, all you have to do is go to my website, CynthiaReneeMeeks.com, send me an email to have a free consultation. Let's talk about it. Or you can go to any of my social media platforms and send me a DM there, okay? Or you can drop a comment below. However, if you don't leave negative comments, because they will not go far with me, okay? They will not go far. If you have some things you need to say, just keep them to yourself. Just say them out loud or say them to someone else, but just don't leave them in a comment, because they will be blocked, okay? I have to say that, even though I don't get negative comments, but I believe that this video may bring in some negative stuff, because people are struggling with how they're taught, how they feel. You know, when I try to have this conversation with people, it's hard for them to accept this, because they've been programmed for so long, heaven and hell, and that's it. And that's, believe it or not, that all these millions of people who die every year, imagine all these people who die from COVID, they're not gone to the light. They're still here. They're still earthbound, because first of all, they was not ready to go. So understand that we can help our family members go to the light and help them to their next evolution, so they can go on and be healed, and raise their vibration and get a better understanding of the contract that they chose, and know that just because they died of something that came through swiftly called COVID, that they did sign up for that umpteen years ago, zillion of years ago, they signed up to say, when this flood through, then I will be the one to sign the sacrifice and sign up to be able to leave. That will be my time. And understand, people cannot die early, okay? Your soul, God, the Creator, is already written in the books. Your date from start to finish is already written in the books. So no one can die early. And please understand that I saw a YouTube video when we was in the time of Corona really heavily at the beginning of last year, where everybody was still in, and I heard a preacher say, you either go outside and die, or you stay in and be saved and not die. Well, that's not true, people. Okay, you got to understand, God is above all men. Okay, He's in control, and all of this is preordained. Whether it was good or bad, it's still preordained. And no one leaves early, even if it's suicide. No one leaves early. They would have died another way. However, they took upon themselves to do it their way. So, but that does not mean that particular day that they would not have died. Okay, we are here. We come in with a date. We leave with a date. And that date cannot be erased. And you should know this, because there's so many people out there who have tried to commit suicide. There's so many people who have been in car accidents, who've had these awakening moments where they all of a sudden are healed. Then you ought to know that if they were supposed to die, they would have died, but they didn't. So just think, if the ones that are died, if they were supposed to be here, they would be here. Okay, so understand that dying is just another part of the evolution. Okay, only the body dies. The soul goes on and on and on and on and on and on. And if you can understand, if you have a hypnosis session and you go back and you see your past lives, then you would get that understanding. But we have been tricked to believe that we're not supposed to dab in anything like that, because they don't want you to understand that. They want you to stay in fear and believe that there's only heaven and hell. You choose, but there's not, because God is within you. We have the spark of God within us, and we always can go to the light. Okay, we always can go to the light, and we always get a second chance, another chance, because this is just a school. This is just a school. And when you don't make the right grade, you get to come back and repeat that grade over again. When you don't make the right scores and you don't pass that grade, you go right back and complete that grade. Exactly how earth is. When you don't make your purpose and you forgot why you came here, and you know, with all this stuff going, you didn't want to wake up when it was time to wake up, and you wanted to stay underneath the veil, then when you die, you will come back and you will repeat that purpose plus your new purpose. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can again DM me. My name is Cynthia Renee Meeks. I'm a spiritual awakening guide for those who have a strong desire to spiritually define their life path in this life or a past life. The modalities I use are spiritual metaphysics, numerology, and spiritual hypnosis. I'm a past life regression therapist and a life between life therapist. Okay, and if you would like to book an appointment with me, yes, DM me and we can talk about. We can have a free consultation. Also, always remember, people, to love first, live and forgive. Bye for now.